Oh yes, why don't we start off by saying hi YouTube. Yeah, exactly. Do you guys know what anime this is? This was actually I did a mystery pick today. Uh I did a mystery pick today. I rolled the wheel and this is what it picked for the mystery pick of today before we get into all the ReZero stuff. Don't worry, there's not gonna be a lot of like analyzation. Death Parade, awesome. Yeah, my brother actually brought it up. He had all this set up for me, so that's why I was like, "This is not ReZero" instantly from the opening. But I guess we're doing Death Parade. So yeah, that's gonna be the first episode of Death Parade. Surprise! In every stream from now on, we'll probably have a mystery episode thrown in there from another series. The only thing I was warned was there might be a little bit of gore, like not a lot of gore. So we'll judge on that. If it gets too gory in any way, shape, or form, we'll go ahead and jump over. Oh boy, Death Parade. Oh no, just oh no. What do you mean by that? This one's pretty amazing. Oh well, I'm glad. Okay. Without spoiling anything. Actually, no, don't spoil anything. This is the first episode. We're watching it together. We're watching it live. There is enough gore on ReZero. All right, you guys ready? Let's go ahead and get started with Death Parade. Well, first off, hi YouTube. You guys are probably just as confused as all of us are, but we do this random thing, or I do this random thing. I sometimes put up polls, and those on Discord might actually see a poll. Oh, yeah, just come back in like 20 minutes or so. You'll be fine, Torkip. But you'll actually see a poll on Discord coming up soon where you guys get to pick the next anime or so after ReZero. And yeah, this is just one of those random ones that will just be thrown in there, as well as Sword Art Online, because that one's yeah, a classic that apparently got picked. So okay, we're back. Hmm.
ここに来た時のことを覚えていらっしゃいますか？いや、覚えてないんだ。確か新婚旅行中だった気がするんだが。
So, and I hate to pause it there, but if you're old enough to go to a bar, old enough to go drink, right? Like in some cultures, in some settings, essentially, like a lot of the bartenders are sort of like your dollar psychologist, your dollar therapist, because sometimes people will go and drown themselves out in alcohol and spill out their secrets, their life, the good and the bad to people who are willing to listen, right? And sometimes, you know, especially if you're working a bar, if you guys have ever worked a bar, I've worked one in Europe, like it's just a small one. You'll get to go ahead and like see something like this, right? Or people will go ahead and open up to you and they'll tell you everything. But right off the bat, this bartender, his leading question wasn't like, oh, like, you know, like any other bartender where it's like, how are you guys doing tonight? What's going on? Like, you know, how can I help you? So on and so forth. No, it was more like, what do you guys remember? That is like an instant red flag. Like, if you know anything, right? And also, this photo right here, this picture. Yeah, I know. We're actually analyzing this. Yeah, it's shady as shit. But also, this photo right here, like, I don't know. It's body language says 1,001 things, right? So, for example, if you ever take like a criminal psychology course or like a body language just course in, you know, just normal movements of human beings, we tend to, like, even though, you know, we can be pretty open, we can also put up barriers and blocks, right? So one of the big things that I'm seeing here, and I know you guys can't really see it because of the little blockage thing, he literally has his hand on the steering wheel on the right hand side. He's tilting a little bit more left. He's literally like blocking his partner, right? As opposed to most standard drivers, which would be two hands, or if your partner's on the right, left hand, right? So it is interesting that like this is sort of like the first couple of shots. What we see is like this relationship, but beforehand they were like, oh, like honey, like type thing. Interesting. Sorry, guys. I just see little things like that, and I'm like, ooh, body language is on point. Oh, once again, right there. So anyone that has their hands crossed, right? This is going to turn into a full dissection for you guys. If you guys are ever in a bar, ever in a setting, social setting, where you want to go ahead and interact with someone, you do have a go ahead like in a key way. You can like instantly be like, all right, this person's willing to be approached. This person's not. Anyone that usually has their hands crossed, it's more like a no-go zone, as opposed to someone that's like open or that's like more leaning one way than to the other. So this is just a key for you guys for social settings, interacting out in the bar, interacting out club, wherever you guys are. You guys are able to quickly identify who is friendly and who is not, just based off of their body language. So, okay, what? Oh, that's...
そしてゲームが終わるまで当店から出ることはできません。はあ？マチコ、相手にするな。行こう。はい。
I wonder if you're even allowed. Yeah, if it's not even gonna work for you at this point. All right, you ever meet a bartender like this? Run if it's in real life. Please get away from. Oh. Did this just turn into like Saw? What the fuck? Every time. Pick a random enemy, bro. It's okay. Pick one. Yeah, as long as it's good. Okay. So here's my thing. And this is where it's gonna get. I'll wait till we get a clear picture. Yeah. The entire time, as creepy as it may have been, right? Have you noticed how creepily still the other individual has been, aside from cleaning the glasses and, you know, like everything's so premeditated in the way that he's like doing discourse. Like these people are having some full-on emotional states in front of you, and like even as a therapist, right? Even as a therapist, like you can, like, especially in couple settings, like when they're being emotionally involved, if you're empathetic, you'll also get emotionally involved, and you'll try and, like, you know, bring them back down to center. He doesn't seem to care. He's more of the analytical side of watching this. What I'm getting right off the bat, especially in a couples setting off of this, is the weird power dynamics that are at play, right? And the secrecy that is being formed off of this, simply just based off of the way that he's, like, even interacting off of her. If there's another person in the room, right, and you're already whispering to your partner, and you're telling your partner, like, oh, I don't know if we should play this, instead of, like, figuring out different ways of coding it without going into the secrecy aspect, then you go ahead and deliver a message without delivering a message, especially if you actually connect with that partner, right? But going ahead and doing this makes me believe that there's like a weird fucked up power dynamic inside of the relationship, right? Because you wouldn't just turn and whisper, especially when the bartender is right there looking at you, telling you that you have to play this game. That's just fucking weird, right? And so I wonder if he's more of like a judge, or just like observing what their interactions are, as opposed to, like, you know, like this is Saw type thing, you know? Like, you will be like those bodies I have hung up back there. Like, this is so weird and unique and interesting, just the power dynamic that's already being enforced in this. Oh, darts. Pretty sick. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty sick. I wonder if even pressing the button is a test in of itself, right? So this is something I tend to do, especially if you're ever given an option, right, between two different choices. Take the time to think, like, or one simple choice, right? It may seem simple, you know, like, hey, if you press my phone, the game will begin, and that's the only way you can escape. Is that true? It's sort of like Schrodinger's cat. You know, if you press the game, will you really, is that really the only way that you can escape? or is not pressing the game just a false threat, right? So you also have to analyze what's going on inside of that head, right? Because by pressing that, right, if I'm telling you this is the only way that you'll live, and if you have your partner and everything there and you press it, now I've already made a judgment as to who you are as an individual. So this is already clicking so many weird, fucked up things. Like, if I were to do this in an unethical, like, counseling setting, right, where it's like, oh, if you're the first person in the relationship to click this button, and I'll go ahead and do a deep dive into the other person, like a deconstruction of the other person in the relationship with you being here. How would that feel, right? Like, instantly, I would judge a person that pressed it as, like, being extremely manipulative or trying to go ahead and have some sort of control inside of that aspect. I don't know if you guys are understanding sort of what I'm getting off of that. Like, it tells us a lot about the person, how quickly they react on pressing the button, or how quickly they're willing to accept the reality that they're in, So, like, if someone just, like, for example, and I know we're getting into this, if someone, like, you're flirting with someone and someone just, like, instantly accepts, like, oh, you know what, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, without being like, let's go ahead and, like, figure out if we're even a fit, like, right? Because there's a difference between being friends and actually, like, going out and, like, connecting in a relationship level. You guys can be friends with benefits, so on and so forth, but some people just don't want the romantic aspect or, like, the hard feeling aspect of whatever. So people that tend to jump into sort of conclusions, you can start making some predisposed assumptions, which assumptions are never really good. But if you have these predisposed assumptions in the back of your head, you can already start being like, okay, so they're jumping in conclusion, like, to certain things. I can already guess that, like, for example, in a relationship, if it's something that they're used to jumping on, or if it's something that triggers them, they'll jump in this direction. So you already know how to move them, if that makes sense. Anyway. Ooh. Oh, that's fucked. Oh. Oh, no. What? That's what? Ooh. What a way to start this episode. Okay. Oh. So there's no physical wound, it's just all neurally linked. Oh. Oh. Oh, my heart. Oof. Oh, dude. This dude is literally judging you so hard based off of your reactions. So he had no problem using his partner first. Let me just process that again. He had no problem throwing that first start and processing his partner first through that pain. The moment it went to him, he runs around and, like, he tries and, like, does this. There's something fucked up in this relationship, and I can't just put my finger on it, but I feel like there's more at play than what's being shown, right? Because right off the bat, and let's see if they even go through this. If they go through this, then I'll understand, okay, you know what, I may be wrong, and I'll admit it on stream. I'll admit it right now. You know what, if this happens, I will admit full on, I was wrong, right? But if I'm putting myself in their shoes, and if I threw the first link and my partner got hurt, and they threw theirs and I got hurt, what I would do from there on is literally just switch. At that point, it is better to take your own pain in your own hands than to cause the pain of your partner. I'm not sure if that makes sense, right? What would you guys do in that situation? Because that's such an interesting, like, dynamic to do, because you care about your partner and you would rather them be in charge of their own pain than you, like, use your previous motivations from the relationship to cause them pain, especially if you actually care about them. Like, I would give the first warning shot as, like, okay, But like, if they continue the game and they continue shooting at one another's, there's something fucked up, you know? Anyway. See, there was that possibility too. Which is fine. I mean, if you care about him, that's what. Throw them at the bar guy. He'll just grab him, throw him. Is there a lady just playing the piano in the background? What the fuck is that? Yeah, the fear of death is it's extremely motivating. Oh, he knows. Watch this. A good person that's read you will instigate it. In any way, shape, or form. He's more than likely gonna hit it. Yeah. Oh. This guy's a scumbag. Oh. 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 This even has me going back and forth. The bartender doesn't care. No, he's gone. So I have reason to doubt. I have. This is either one big fucking lie from both sides. Like, for example, fear of death is real. You know, a lot of people, especially when they can't process death or when they start feeling pain and they're like, you know, in any situation like that, fight, fright, or freeze, right? So they're either going to fight you, they're going to run away, or they're going to freeze up on the spot, right? And a lot of people in that moment will take control. Oh, I'm glad you're liking this. A lot of people will take control and will actually go ahead and fight back, or they'll run away, or they'll end up just freezing, not knowing what to do, right? And in his situation, we've already gone and seen that. My whole thing, and this is where it gets fucked up. You've had the option, right, to go ahead and do this. So you're literally not putting yourself on top of another person, not thinking about the aspect, but just the aspect of what love is in general gets thrown out because of the ambitions of how would I put it? End of life. Simple as that. But my whole thing is she brings this up after she caused him pain specifically. See, now I feel like this whole baby thing is... Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Godly. It's like, what if they missed all their shots from the start, right? And at that point, they would tie. There would be no winner. There would be no loser, but they played the game, right? So that's an interesting approach to this. My whole thing with her is this moment when she's talking about baby or whatnot could be, but why bring it up at this particular point in time instead of before? You know, once the pain and once you've seen that he's going a little bad shit, you bring this up. It's not adding up. Certain things are just not putting well together. Oh, okay, yeah. Humans can either be really great or really horrible individuals. Oh, what? Oh no. Oh no. Trace, are you holding up okay? Oh, so this is why their memory was taken away. Oh, this is messed up. Oh, not memory taken away. The beginning, right? Oof. Oof. Yeah, but you worked through that. You know what's interesting now that I've thought about it, and this is exactly why I say take your time, guys. If you're given a decision, right, like, you know, you got to make this choice. It's this choice. Take your time and think, right? Because it took me up into this moment, you know, from the 13 minutes plus with all the talking, right? He hasn't questioned the power of the bartender in a realistic fashion. There's an experiment, I believe it's a Milgram experiment, right? Where if a person in power tells you to do something, you're going to go ahead and do it. Majority of the time, you're going to go ahead and do it without questioning it or without actively thinking. So please, this is a reminder in a work setting and whatever it is, if you feel it is unethical or you're giving a decision immediately, take some time and think. Like, I'm doing this, and yes, I've even gotten some shit about it because they're like, why are you thinking about it? Because I'd rather make a good decision than a rushed one. So please, this is just general life advice. Take some time, breathe, think through it. There's no need to rush. You know, even if they're like, we need it now, you know, if they needed it now, they would have told you yesterday. Best way to put it. So we'll go ahead and continue. Oh. Okay, Mr. Sebi, yes, he does have a flesh start board. But my question being is, like, just because a person in power tells you to do something doesn't necessarily mean you go out and do it. You think of a better way to get around this issue than just start throwing darts and hurting one another. Oh, where is this going? Please. Oh! 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 What have I just watched? This is... Your relationship's completely ruined at this point. Jealousy. Wow. Wow. Very common thing in relationships. Ooh. So, I guess I can bring this up. The number one thing that, like, I see a lot of my clients in psychology in general are because of communication and infidelity issues that arise from jealousy, that arise from miscommunication. Please, if you're in a relationship, you know, ask around, ask your partner. It's totally natural. You know, hey, how can I, like, better communicate with you? How can I be a better me with you? You know, same thing with them. Talk about what you're comfortable with, what you're not talking about, what you're not comfortable with. Because, you know, we're here for a very limited amount of time, best way to put it, in the grand scale of things. And you'd rather live a peaceful life than, you know, one where you're with a partner that you are very doubtful or, you know, I don't know how to put it, like enraged, angry, emotionally in turmoil over, you know. And that's just like the best advice that I can give you is, like, be open, be honest to yourself and be honest to them. Because situations like this can't arise. Anyway. Good question for all of you. And this is something that I've been thinking now. Is like, if these guys are arbiters, right, and this guy doesn't really show a lot of emotions, does that make him the perfect arbiter or doesn't it? I personally think it makes him sympathetic and leave out occasional rules out instead of actually... Like, you know, you want someone that's actually gone through the experiences to judge you rather than someone who will judge you based off of nothing, right? So my whole thing is, like, the human experiences are count for something, right? So good question for all of you. Would you guys want someone that's blank slate, echidna style, or would you want someone that can actually empathize with what, like, everyone's going through and make their decision based off of that?
がいるの。
Oh.
って当然でしょ。
Oh.
あなたみたいな人を好きになると思う？頭悪いんじゃない？お金目当てに決まってるでしょ。
お前やっぱり全て作り話だったの。
But I mean, yeah, it's possible.
決まってるじゃない。あなたの子なんて。
Even my heart breaks a little.
さあ参りましょうか。
Wow. Wow, jealousy and deceit. Yeah.
それでは行ってらっしゃいませ。
See, the appropriate thing, like, if you're to judge, like, heaven or hell for this one, I'd just send them both. Oh. Wait, did he send her? Well, nice of you to following us. Did he send her to hell? Oh, shit! Or was it vice versa? Okay. Okay, I can bang with Death Parade. That's pretty fucking sick. I love the plot twist because it's based off of like the human interactions, the human emotions, you know, stuff like that. Let me skip forward a little bit. That's what I thought. Yeah.
教えてほしいことがあるんだけど。
How did you judge them? Alright. I think that's preview for episode 2, I guess. The best way I can state this, well, I bring up episode 20 of ReZero right now, is this. The game, you know, ultimately he was deciding right off the bat, right? And, like, the only reason why I guessed she went to hell is because the masks were inverted from the beginning. And I was like, I'm guessing one of them means, like, good, the other one means evil, right? Or void or whatever. It is such an interesting concept, and, like, it really did pique my curiosity. I hope you guys enjoyed it, too. I hope you guys enjoyed all the plot twists and the randomness that came with it, because that was interesting. As for all of the new ones that, like, are here watching the stream, it's episode 20. I have to keep reminding myself whether it is or not. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are, like, you know, liking the stream so far. We just finished Death Parade episode 1, and we're starting with ReZero episode 20. Let's get a hype train going while I go ahead and get some water and bring it over and go to the restroom real quick. And we'll begin as soon as I am back. You guys might see me go into the Shadow Realm and come back.